Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Let's take a step into the light of God's love with Jesus. Tonight, we are looking at the desire to deny the will of the Father. The desire to deny the will of the Father. Jesus, is there somewhere deep in the mind a desire to deny the will of the Father?
Yes.
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 Yes. So now that we're all in agreement on that, let's look at that desire and the relishing of that desire. And we'll take a few minutes in silent contemplation to look at that, the wanting energy, and see how it's developing.
Nancy, I'm sorry, I came on late. Can you tell me what the desire is?
It's the desire to deny the will of the Father.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. And once again, we are looking at the desire to deny the will of the Father. And the wanting energy is showing me that the Nancy character relishes keeping her own will. She's saying, here on earth, we each have our own will. It's part of the separation, and Nancy wants to keep it that way. And she thinks that she can get everything to work out eventually. So she's relishing working hard to make a heaven out of hell.
I'm seeing a 4-year-old girl in a clearing defiantly stomping away towards the forest, towards danger, and doesn't care, and is just childishly stubborn and defiant.
Jesus, please tell us more about the relishing of this desire to deny the will of the Father.
I'm hearing, you think the will of the Father might be too boring. So I go for my own will, might be more interesting. Still relishing some kind of excitement in the world. Yeah.
Jesus is telling me that I think the will of the Father would be to punish me. After all, I left heaven and tried to take his power with me. And that's why I developed my own will. So I'm going to keep that out of fear of punishment.
As per today's lesson, I choose the joy of God instead of pain. I have experienced pain today, and so right now I'm actually relishing that pain as the denial of the will of the Father, which is joy, and it's bringing me some relief. And I was told to share that because I asked. So there you go. relishing pain is relishing a denial of or rejection of the will of the Father.
I'm being prompted to welcome Denise tonight. And Denise, what happens in these evening sessions is that we allow Jesus to show us the kind of superficial denials we have of God. And so what you're hearing right now are the personal identity, the part of us, the part of the mind that feels separate from God, and voicing that. And what Jesus has shown us is that when we look at that energy that we invest in something that denies God, and just admit there's a part of my mind that relishes this, Jesus, the energy of God, starts to dissipate that and take it away. And we ask for a miracle, which is to see it differently. And that's the process that we're practicing here.
Yes, welcome, Denise.
Yeah, whether we're thinking that we're doing it or not, we're doing it anyway by simply coming from the ego. So we are denying the will of God simply by that.
Yes, we're denying. Oh, go ahead.
I woke up this morning with so extreme fear and almost panic. I couldn't understand why it was so strong, because I had an appointment with the immigration, but it was already clear that it was authorized. So I just went for an interview and it went all well, and I had any reason to be joyful. But I didn't. I just didn't hold on to this depression and fear and feeling like something terrible happened, even if it's something I was fighting for a whole year. And I just see how stubbornly this character is holding on. I want to feel bad. I want to feel pain. And even I had a leaking eye for 2 days. And I knew already this morning after I went to the immigration, this will be gone. And it is gone. And so really, every reason to be joyful. Met mighty companions after that and had wonderful open expression sessions. I wonder what my character wants. I just don't want to be happy. I don't want to be joyful. It's unbelievable.
And Jesus is reminding me that God's will for us is perfect happiness. And the Nancy character says, oh, but there's got to be a trick to that. I'm going to look for the trick.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Could you say the desire? I came in a little bit late.
Yes, it is the desire to deny the will of the Father. the desire to deny the will of the Father.
I'm hearing it stems from me not wanting my father and I are one. Because if we are one, then his will is my will, and there's no difference. But I don't want this, the oneness, and I don't want God, basically, or I don't accept that. So I relish the separation.
Jesus, please show us more about the wanting energy of this relishing that we have.
I just don't want to believe that God could make me happy. Even I'm sitting here and feel already quite a release of this heaviness and of this depression and fear. And I get a real little giggle.
He's showing me or prompting me to that a part of my mind wants to remain autonomous. The Mary personality identity wants to remain autonomous from everyone, especially something that might be more powerful than me as I perceive myself.
Oh, I'm just seeing why there was this fear and panic this morning. And when Mary said about somebody has more power than me, and it was his authorities at the immigration, they could have the power to put me down and say, no, you are not allowed to stay in Mexico. And that was the reason why I was unconsciously in this panic and fear. Thank you for showing me.
Jesus is showing me that I think there's some kind of sacrifice involved in the will of the Father for me. And that's why the wanting energy is to follow my own will.
Even if I see the origin of the pain I'm experiencing in a choice I made to ignore the light earlier today, the only thing for me to relish is my, in this moment, denial or rejection of the light's will. Because yeah, I must be currently doing that, or I would not be having an apparent response to something earlier in the day. So in this moment, it doesn't have anything to do with choices in the past. It's just in this moment to relish in this moment the denial or rejection of heavenly or divine loving will.
Jesus, what do we think we're getting out of this denial of the will of the Father?
Something better.
Autonomy.
Power of doing my own.
Power.
I think deep down, I deny that I separated from God. I don't believe I did. I don't buy this tiny mad idea of myself making such a decision to separate. And I'm blaming God. I don't even know what his will for me is. I think it's his fault I'm in this situation. And so I'm throwing a tantrum because you did it to me. I did nothing. And I'm in complete denial. I'm relishing the denial and the amnesia that I'm experiencing.
Jesus, do we value this denial more than God? Apparently, yes. Jesus is saying.
For the value. Can you hear me?
Pardon, Renee, could you
Can you hear
repeat
me?
that?
Okay. Yeah. For the value, I hear safety and comfort. It's to deny the will of the Father.
Today, for me, the most immediate value was pleasing and mollifying and caretaking my earthly mother and father. So that was a choice, and I can choose once again.
I hear that I value this as my creation, all mine.
Could you say that one more time? I heard, I hear that I value this, and then I lost it.
I value this as my creation, all mine, separate from the Father.
Thank you, Lori.
authorship.
I hear I'm willing, but during the day I go to sleep again. Like there is no Father's will, just mine.
Jesus, are we willing to see this differently?
Yes.
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 I'm hearing yes. Jesus, what would you have us see about this desire, the desire to deny the will of the Father? What would you have us see about this?
I'm hearing he's saying you're denying love, basically.
Doing this to myself. That's what I relish.
Just a
I'm
kind of a
Um,
change earlier.
Can you hear me?
A bit. I can hear you a bit.
Okay. Yeah, it's my sound is not. Might be
And
my
I'll-
internet connection.
I'm also hearing that the term the will of the Father I associate with the Old Testament father who is kind of tyrannical, it seems like, and almost vengeful.
I associate it with the New Testament father who sacrifices his only begotten son, which is a bummer to me. And also, it feels like putting me through a paper shredder, denying the will of what I prefer to, at this moment, call a genderless light. But anyway, it feels like putting myself through a paper shredder. Not pleasant.
I'm feeling God is responsible for my constant inner turmoil and hardly ever find really peace. So I always think I have to be better and I shouldn't do this, but that. And I make God responsible for that.
Jesus, are we willing to take responsibility for our minds in this denial?
Yes.
I'm hearing yes.
Yes.
Yes. I'm hearing yes too.
I very much want to, and it feels extremely slippery right now. Like something fell out of my grasp and it's wet and greased and probably running around a field like a pig, a greased hog. And I'm trying to get a hold of it again, but it feels very slippery.
Yes. whatever the question was. I'm taking responsibility for my mind.
Yes.
Okay, Renee says yes. So Jesus, please show us what you would have us to see here.
Of the Father and in the worldliness.
And Denise, that sound was kind of scattered. Could you please say that again?
Yes, I kept hearing not feeling the love of the Father and the feeling unworthy, and He's wanting us to receive the love of the Father, and that He's worthy to receive that love. That's why we're resisting. We don't feel worthy to receive His love.
Yeah.
I'm hearing you are strong enough to take it, but you like to play the weak one. It's all too much. It's too much. But you are strong enough.
Very.
Jesus, do we have the power to release this desire?
Yes.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm hearing yes. Jesus, are we afraid of the love of God? I'm hearing yes.
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 Absolutely. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Very much.
Yes.
Hallelujah, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
Yes. Jesus, please help us to see this differently. Please help us to see the love of the Father differently.
We just need to relax into it and stop our resistance.
Jesus is telling me the love of the Father is you. You are the love of the Father.
I'm hearing relax and enjoy the release. I do. I do.
I'm reminded of, I think it was Lael who quoted this. God is gentle, God is kind, God is loving. But I don't know exactly the verse in the Bible. And it's very comforting to know that there's nothing vengeful, horrible about God. He's just kind, loving, just gentle.
I hear, in your midst I am.
So is that in your midst I am?
Yes.
I feel a very soft energy wrapping me, very comforting, very loving, very gentle.
Jesus, are we ready to receive the miracle?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
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 Is there anyone holding on to anything?
Yeah.
How about you, Renee? Ah, she's releasing. Okay.
Mm.
Mhm.
I think we've heard from everyone.
Yeah, he's just showing me the love of my brother, the light in my brother.
Ready to let go.
That it's pretty hard to deny. It's pretty hard to deny the love of my brother and the holiness
Woohoo.
through this willingness. Through this willingness. It's just, thank you.
It looks like we have our miracle.
Yes, yes.
Ta-da.
Thank you.
Ta-da.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you, Nancy.
Jesus.
Thank you,
Oh,
Jesus.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
mighty
you, thank
Thank
you,
you.
mighty companion.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh,